pretty good.
I believe our next proclamation, which I will read, is through Teams. Good morning, Nick.
Good morning.
We have a lot of people kind of going back to their seats, so I just giving us a second.
No worries.
So in honor of LGBTQ and Pride Month, we have Nick Emmy from NAMI Bucks County. And I would like to begin by reading the proclamation, and then Nick will have something to say. Whereas each year, Pride Month honors the 1969 Stonewall Uprising in Manhattan, which was a tipping point for the gay liberation movement in the United States. And whereas for more than a half century since, the LGBTQ and community during the month of June has held Pride celebrations of evolving size and scope throughout the world. And whereas Bucks County is proud to have organizations like NAMI, which performs a critical role in supporting LGBTQ youth through education and advocacy. And whereas broad strides in the direction of justice and equality, many in the LGBTQ community still endure hardship and mistreatment from those who would see social progress undone. Whereas in solidarity with the LGBT community and in recognition of the month-long Pride celebration, the county will fly the Pride flag over the administration courtyard throughout the month of June. So now, therefore, do we, the Bucks County Board of Commissioners, hereby proclaim June 2024 as LGBTQ Pride Month throughout the County of Bucks. In so doing, we encourage all Bucks County residents to celebrate our friends, family, and neighbors in the LGBTQ community and to join us in reaffirming our support for the cause of equality for all people. Thank you. And Nick, we appreciate your being here. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. So good morning, everyone, and happy Pride. I really appreciate being here. My name is Nicholas Amy, and I have the honor of serving as the Associate Executive Director at NAMI Bucks County, PA, which is the National Alliance on Mental Illness. We are dedicated to improving the lives of individuals and families affected by mental health conditions through recovery-focused support, education, and advocacy. And I'm coming to you live today from Denver, Colorado, where we're holding our NAMI National Convention. And we're focusing on legislation, public policy, treatment advancements, and most importantly at this convention, serving marginalized and minoritized communities. I'm deeply honored to accept this proclamation, and I'd like to thank Commissioners Marseglia, Harvey, and DiGirolamo for recognizing June as Pride Month in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. And right now, I'd like to take a moment to speak to the folks who attend our LGBTQ plus support groups at NAMI in the Rainbow Room. We have fought together an internal battle for self-love and self-acceptance in the face of violence, hate, and people who believe that we are something less than human. Pride is not just a series of parades, and Pride is not for those who hate us. Pride is a rainbow-colored beacon of hope for those of us who need and haven't found our community yet. Pride allows individuals who are afraid to be themselves to know that they're not alone, and Pride saves lives. Mr. Rogers once said, "When I was a boy, I would see scary things in the news, and my mother would say to me, 'Look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping.' I am a helper. I don't want to change or fix you or make you something that's more palatable to society. There is nothing about you that needs to be fixed. Being queer or gay or trans is not a choice. Being queer is not a trend. It is a human reality. I want to help you be the colorful, vibrant, extraordinary individual that you are. And I want to help you accept and love every part of yourself that you may be at war with. I want to help you stay alive despite feelings of wanting to die and not being accepted. And I want to help as someone who is at war with myself because society told me that I was wrong to be gay. My own father, growing up, tried to beat it out of me with his fists. He tried to pray it away, and he tried to disown me. I want to help because I've tried to remove myself from this world on numerous occasions, and I know the pain of feeling like I had no place in. I want to be the example, as I speak these words and receive this proclamation remotely, that I do have a place in this world, and I do have valuable things to offer society as a gay man, and so do all of you. Today, I run an organization that has helped nearly 50,000 people in the last year find help, hope, acceptance, and support for their mental well-being. It has been 8.5 years since my last suicide attempt, and had I extinguished my own light, 50,000 people would not have received the support and acceptance they so desperately needed. Today, I am the person who I needed when I was younger. So if you're watching this and you're struggling, please know I care. I care because I've been there, and I care enough to help. Reach out to me, to NAMI, and to the Rainbow Room, because we are the helpers. So I accept this proclamation today, not just as Nick and not as the NAMI organization. I accept this proclamation alongside hundreds of youth and adults whom I've helped over the years. Hundreds of individuals whose light shines brighter than any darkness cast upon us. We are not just LGBTQ plus individuals. We are a powerful group that has survived in the face of adversity. We are generations who have thrived and breathed life and culture into our local communities. And we are human beings who deserve to be protected, to be happy, and to take up space in this world. Sorry, this means a lot to me. I am proud of each and every one of you for simply existing when that right to exist is challenged daily. Please remember, just because we have rights today doesn't mean we'll always have those rights, and we must work every day to defend our rights. With a very important election coming up in November, I have a very simple quote for family and friends of LGBTQ plus individuals. Don't tell someone you love them, and then vote for someone who will hurt them. To the amazing parents and family members who accept, support, and love unconditionally, thank you. To Marlene Prey and Rick Davis at the Rainbow Room, thank you for all you do too. To the individuals who attend the support groups I lead, thank you. You help me as much as I help you. I accept this proclamation on your behalf. If no one has told you yet today that you are loved and appreciated, I love and appreciate you. And as Cyndi Lauper said in the 1980s, I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So thank you again, and happy Pride, everyone.
Thank you, Nick. You are a treasure to this community, and we appreciate your being with us today. Thank you. We will send the proclamation over. Thank you. We will move to public comment, and we will begin with Jeba Kawa.
Good morning, commissioners, and good morning to everyone else in this room. I am not sure the format of these meetings. It's my first one, but I'd like to introduce our church to this honorable group in this audience. I represent, as their chief administrator, the Greater Refuge Tabernacle Ministries in Levittown, Pennsylvania. And I'm here with my husband, who's the senior pastor. But I stand here because I would like us to think about a problem that is ongoing, and our church has been impacted directly. In early spring of 2023, so just over a year ago, Lawrence and our church went out to the Bible Museum in Washington, D.C. on a trip. He was happy. He was spirited, he was joyful. But 3 weeks after that trip, he hung himself in our church. That was devastating. He'd been living at the church for about a little over a year. We tried to see what services we could get for him, but because of whatever was going on with him, he wasn't stable enough for us to really form any kind of support around his life to bring him back from whatever dark place his choices had taken him. He even showed us, he introduced his son to us before his death. And so it was really impactful, really devastating to our church and our church family to know that we lost such a wonderful person simply because we were unable to help support him in his journey back to a place away from homelessness and any other things that might have been going on with him. So I know a lot of people come here asking for help. I'm saying on behalf of Greater Refuge that we would like to partner with Bucks County in solving these types of problems. As I stand here today, just over a year later, we have another person who is now residing at our church. We've called the police, we've taken her to shelters, we've taken her to various places, even a home of one of our congregants, just to see.
Can you hang on one second? Pardon me? Your time is up, so what I'm wondering is if we can connect with you with Rachel Neff, our Director of Human Services. We'll get your name and number. We have a suicide task force. We have an entire community service department that works with homelessness. I think Gail Humphrey is going to get your names and numbers and everything, and we'd like to very much partner with you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ed Mackhouse?
Ed Mackhouse, an engineer, scientist, retired scientist, discovered the structure of matter 50 years ago. And I'd like to compliment the program so far today, employee recognition, child welfare professionals, and the presentation of LGBTQ person, and then just about the suicide thing. There is drugs coming into this country. There's never-ending amount of problems. We need wealth in America. We need to produce oil and stuff again, like under President Trump, so that people can have some hope for the future. As of now, we have $3 trillion in debt. We're paying $1 trillion a year just on interest. America is the wealthiest country in the world and should be making trillions of dollars, not losing trillions of dollars. So we have politicians that promising green new energy. There's always a cost of energy. Pennsylvania has fossil fuels. We can support a country for hundreds of years just from the natural gas is the cleanest energy. The real science knows that carbon dioxide is essential for life and for plants. It produces oxygen, and carbon dioxide produces 40% more food in production because we have more carbon dioxide. And Dr. Clauser, the Nobel Prize physicist, explained how it's trillions of dollars of loss. The LGBTQ week and children, parents committing suicide. America is set up as a unique nation where there's a balance of power between government. Humans are inherently, living things are inherently selfish, but then birds of a feather flock together. There's a way of working together. So we need a balance of power, a balance between the child, the parent, and religion and the government. Religion, everyone has to be can't play God. As a parent, we can't play God. We got to admit that we're human. And the problems occur because of a lack of balance of power. Parents don't know everything. They have to have a community, like a church, some kind of thing that help. When you got rid of them, we need a balance of power, like between the mosque and the church. We have separation of power. We can't have like the one religion dominating like that. Muslim 8-point star in 15 democratic cities and one state, Minnesota. We got to have a balance of power in America to preserve the rights of everyone.
Catherine Price Engelhardt.
Good morning. I just wanted to come and thank you, the commissioners, for your continued support in Morrisville. I'm a part of the Senior Citizen Center there. I'm on the board of directors. And we have over 300 members for that little center. We give services such as food, daily lunches, but also emotional support to our seniors. We know our seniors. We know those who are struggling. We know those who need help, need rides, need comfort, need welcoming. And that's what we provide for not only the citizens of Morrisville, but we have others that come from Falls and Lower Makefield. So thank you for your continued financial support. It means a lot to us. It's an important part of our community that makes Morrisville so great. I'm also really grateful for the money for Manor Park and the efforts in that grant. When I came on to council in Morrisville, I have a background in Parks and Recreation, and so I was immediately put on the Parks and Recreation Committee. And the first thing I went out to is look at the conditions of Morrisville playground, and I was appalled. And I brought it to council. And less than a couple years later, we now have a grant that's going to repair and make that a usable park. We have no playground equipment for our 6 to 12-year-olds, and this will be such a great addition for our children, especially in First Ward, but all over. So again, thank you for the wonderful work you do. Thank you for supporting us.
Thank you. Thank you. Nancy Sherlock. Okay, thank you. Beth Roth.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Beth Roth from Bedminster. I want to begin by thanking Ms. Humphreys, Mr. Harvey, Charlene and Kelly for coming to for meeting me at the 2% recount. Mr. Harvey gave me a tour through the entire process of what happens in the central tabulation room on the day of election. Greatly appreciated that. We have taken many opportunities this year, past 6 months, I would say, to really learn the election process. And it's huge, and it requires a lot of diligence. So I want to thank you for the work that you do. And we have learned a lot. There's still more to learn. And you said at the last meeting, Ms. Marcelia, that the Bucks County Election Integrity Task Force is not an authorized group. That's true. That's true. We're a fairly organized group of people who are very interested in seeing that we have an honest and fair election. That was why we started out. One of the questions that plagues us continually is that, yes, the machines are doing the scanning. Yes, they output numbers, but there's no way to prove that those ballots that are in the bag match the numbers that come off the tape. The assumption is that they do, but they come from machines, and machines, electronic machines, there's not an electronic machine in the world that can't be hacked by someone who knows how. I don't know how, but there are a lot of people smarter than me. So I just want to share a little bit about our observation from logic and accuracy testing, but you now know where we're coming from. We observed every session of logic and accuracy testing, and I only have a few comments about it. One, we were not allowed to really see anything. We couldn't see the ballots. We were not allowed to talk to anyone. This was the first time we did this. That's the rules we were given. We followed them. However, the way that they run the logic and accuracy testing, they're feeding in pre-printed ballots. According to state recommendations, I'll say, those ballots are supposed to be hand-filled out. And then they are supposed to be put through the machine in every kind of position that could happen at the precinct. So I just want to say that, and there were only 18 ballots, and there should be more than 25, according to statute. We would be happy to volunteer.
Thank you. Thank you. Bill Engelhardt. Bill? And I said that wrong. It's Bill Everett. I'm sorry, Bill. I got your last name wrong.
Okay. Good morning. My name is Bill Everett, and I am an elected committeeman in Middletown Township. My topic today is election integrity. I spoke at the last meeting about the required 2% recount and logic and accuracy testing. I would like to follow up on those items today and with some additional information and a request for your comment. Our 2% election recount requirement is clearly documented in the report issued by the Secretary of State, Al Smith, on June 30th, 2023. The report is entitled PA Department of State Certification Document for the Clear Ballot, Clear Vote. Here are 3 quotes from the PA Election Code and the Department of State Certification document that we would like you to comment on. Quote number 1 from the PA Election Code. 25 PS 3031.17 requires, quote, statistical recount of a random sample of ballots after each election using manual, mechanical, or electronic devices of a different type than those used for the specific election, end quote. Quote number 2 from the PA Election Code, 25 PS 3031.5 states that the county, quote, the county board shall comply with the requirements for the use of the electronic voting system as set forth in the report by the Secretary of the Commonwealth, close quote. Quote number 3, the Clear Ballot, Clear Vote 2.3 electronic voting system was certified on June 30th, 2023 by Al Smith, Secretary of the Commonwealth, with the condition that the recount required by 3031.17, quote, must be conducted via manual count of the voter-marked paper ballots exclusively. Therefore, although Section 3031.17 allows for a recount by hand or machine, compliance with Section 3031.5 requires the county to follow the exclusive hand count condition laid out by the Secretary of the Commonwealth's certification document. At the last Commissioners' meeting, I also made a recommendation to use sample ballots prepared by hand for the logic and accuracy testing, and then verified against the tape and the thumb drive. If this presents a resource issue to prepare the sample ballots, volunteers can be provided to fill them out. We respectfully request that you comment on how the county will comply with the 2% recount requirement for November's election. I also appreciate if you comment on my recommendation for logic and accuracy testing. Thank you for your time.
So I'm just going to say we could give you the father. Andy Warren.
Morning, Commissioners. 2 quick points. One, concerning item number 20, the gift that keeps on giving. What percentage of the workforce and development, economic development group is actually, what part of their budget percentage roughly is funded by ARP? The second point is kind of a recommendation, concern. Last commissioners meeting, I was in Tennessee and missed it, so I looked at it on television. And lo and behold, I thought I was looking at commercial television. I think it's time that the three of you and the solicitor, if you want to put her in this, get out of the bait and switch window storm door replacement business. What do I mean by this? There's an ad on television where someone apparently bought a storm door, was installed, manufactured, the thing leaked like a sieve, so the individual goes to the manufacturer and says, oh, no, this isn't the manufacturer, it was installed wrong. Goes to the installer, oh, no, wasn't the installer, it's the manufacturer. Either way, it's a bait and switch. This brings me to the county sample ballot, signed by Robert Harvey, Denise Marseglia, and Diane Marseglia, and Jean DiGirolamo. With this sample ballot, there's instructions on here for write-ins. And I'm, as a voter, assuming that if there is a position for a write-in, that if an individual goes to the effort to get the required number of signatures and has it put on the ballot, and voters vote for that, and they get the most votes, that means that the individual is a winner. And that's, I assume, for everything on the sample ballot except committee person. Why would you put on a ballot something that you know, apparently, will be negated by a party chairperson? That's nonsense. Either write-ins count as advertised on the sample ballot, or don't put them on the ballot. But stop the bait and switch, and stop this, that the county, if you ask a county about why it doesn't work, they say because a party chairman does it. You ask a party chairman why it doesn't work, that the ballots don't count, they say, well, the Board of Election put it on. You can't have it both ways. Clean up the ballot and let's restore integrity.
Robert McLean.
Good morning. Robert McLean, Milford Township. Humility is a needed virtue, and Christians should adopt a posture of humility, partly in response to LGBT pride, since the Bible teaches that when pride comes, then comes disgrace. But with humility comes wisdom, Proverbs 11:2. But even with the necessary humility and gentleness of spirit that ought to season all our interactions, we have a calling to defend the truth and to honor the Creator in everything we do. While it may be tempting to either dismiss the pride flag as unimportant or the rainbow as irredeemable, the importance of the rainbow as a sign of God's preserving grace should not be underestimated. As the theologian Abraham Kuyper stated, quote, "Every Christian shortchanges the honor of God when as the rainbow appears in the cloud, he does not remember the faithfulness of his God and does not recognize in that rainbow the sign of the covenant. He is acting like pagans and unbelievers who observe nothing but a necessary phenomenon of nature and a beautiful spectacle. Our God has emphatically testified that as often as he displays the rainbow in the cloud, he is our God, and that he would see it and remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is on the earth, Genesis 9:16. This now lays down upon us, the children of men, the duty to do in such moments what God is doing, and from our side to view the rainbow in a way that remembers the faithfulness of his covenant. Our task is to remember the rainbow, to reclaim it as a symbol of cultural power and theological significance, above all as a reminder of God's faithfulness to his covenant promise. Never again will life be destroyed by the waters of a flood. Never again will there be a flood to destroy the earth. Genesis 9:11. God had sent those destructive waters on an antediluvian world mired in sin, as Kuyper describes, quote, a hell on earth, one big insane asylum, a general dulling and brutalization, one great physical and spiritual degeneration into the most hideous diseases and inhuman cruelties, one great universal mutual self-destruction of humanity, end of quote. Even as Pride Month arrogantly takes on the biblical symbol of the rainbow and corrupts it for the purposes of celebrating sin, Christians must recall the common grace that God extends in the image of the rainbow to all creation. However, we cannot use symbols that would communicate complicity with or approval of sin. The rainbow was claimed by God before it was corrupted by human pride. And in that way, Christians can be rightly understood as having the responsibility to reclaim the rainbow and, along with it, all of God's gracious promises.
Beth Curcio.
Bidenomics has created horrible inflation, which is a tax on the American people. $7.5 billion invested in EG charging stations that has only produced 7 stations in 2 years, per Wall Street Journal, bankrupting our country and our freedom. Since the county commissioners follow most of the programs of this Marxist regime, which stole the election in 2020, let's see what's happening here in Bucks County under the leadership of these selected commissioners. First, we have some type of luxury van costing the taxpayer of Bucks County over $400,000. Most probably, they'll need an employee and full benefits and a pension to chauffeur people around. Let's not forget the $4 a gallon of gas, and yes, there will be maintenance. Wonder why they just couldn't hire Buckspot or Uber. Free market capitalism delivers way better service and price. How about 3 lawyers hired to sue Jamie Walker, who is a taxpayer, because she won the right to see all the emails from the school lockdowns and mask mandates? Just can you imagine what's in those emails? Corruption at its finest. Let's get into the Creative Project and Diversity Officer position. Estimated salary with benefits cost the hardworking citizens of Bucks County $120,235. Can you believe there's a one-woman LLC, which was also created 4 years ago in Chalfont? The taxpayers paid her in 2020 $1,000. In 2022, $60,360. In 2023, $64,948, and a whopping $93,880 in 2024. To top it off, DEI is a Marxist ideology, which most corporations are doing away with it. It creates hate between people. In this country, we are supposed to follow the Constitution, not the Bible of DEI, Common Core, and gender ideology. It's all demonic. LLC started in 2019, President Laura Lomax's website, interculturalworks.com. I recall last year the sheriff had asked for a little under $1 million for 8 new sheriffs since the county had 8,000 warrants out. Diane told him to fundraise. She had other priorities other than safety of the 600,000 citizens of Bucks County. They were finally shamed into it. Of course, they had a selection coming up. Since they refuse to hold town halls, taxpayers never get a say in where our money goes and is spent. They usually gaslight us, conspiracy theories, well, they're all out of them. Disinformation, election denial. I ask again, where are you housing the criminal illegals in Bucks County? What are the illegals costing the taxpayer besides jobs and safety? Our country is on the verge of collapse, moving into World War III. Stolen elections on all government levels have catastrophic consequences. Warminster is looking at over a 5% tax increase for the school. You commissioners have no right raising taxes so you can waste the taxpayers' money. You're totally irresponsible with the taxpayers' money. It's part of your Vision 2040, helping the globalist agenda plan to enslave America. Thank you.
Peter Donat. I know, but I didn't know, okay, I wasn't sure if that person signed up or they accidentally signed up, so. That concludes public comment for today, and we will move on to the consent agenda. Well, I guess I could answer a couple of these questions first. First of all, with regard to the Workforce Development Board, 0% of their budget is based on ARPA, although this project is funded by ARPA. There was also a question about the committee person's spots on the election. The way to change that is for you to go to the Republican Party and work very hard to have that chairman change their bylaws. That has nothing to do with the county. And the final answer to the questions on the election is that we are following all state laws, and we do have a process for which a recount happens. Is there any other comments anyone wants to make? Thank you. Okay, so is there a motion to approve the consent agenda, including the minutes from the May 15th, 2024 meeting?
Second.
I need a motion first.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we'll move to the regular agenda. This is for Workforce and Economic Development, to approve the American Rescue Plan Act funds for Build Business in Bucks County's grant program in the amount of $200,000. And Brian is here to speak to us.
Good morning, all. Thanks for having me today. I wanted to review the Build Business in Bucks grant. This Build Business in Bucks grant will provide 65 businesses up to $3,000 per award in services and training to develop entrepreneurial skills through consultation with local qualified experts with a wide range of industries. These entrepreneurial businesses will receive accounting, marketing, and human resources services and some of the eligibility. They must be a Bucks County-based business for profit, established within the last 5 years, having at least 50 employees or fewer. Recipients will need to provide an EIN number, W-9, and proof of the business ownership. Priority for the grant will be given to veteran-owned, minority-owned, and women-owned businesses. For the partnering businesses that these entrepreneurial businesses will partner with to provide these services, these businesses will also need to come from Bucks County. These businesses will come from chambers of commerce, business associations, and networking groups based in Bucks County. They will pair with these businesses to provide qualified support for the financial training, marketing, and HR resources and consulting. So this grant will help continue to build the small business ecosystem and community in Bucks County. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
No, I appreciate you being here, Mr. Cummings. Just as someone who I know is, since you got here about almost 2 years ago, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so been working for Workforce and Economic Development, doing all the kind of the legwork, the connections with chambers and small businesses, local governments, trying to help out businesses, grow and bring businesses to Bucks County. So this is a great program to, certainly help, as you said, up to 65 businesses get the kind of, this isn't just giving them money, this is actually getting them expertise. Someone who might have a small business, but they struggle with the accounting part of things because it's just not their strength. You connect them with an established business that has a background and experience in that can train them, a Bucks County business, and with all the other marketing, as you said. So I think it's a great program and appreciate you bringing it to us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there any questions? Is there a motion to approve item 20?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have a budget adjustment today. Mr. Buscola?
All right, thank you, Commissioner. For your consideration, adjustment number 4 for 2024. The Sheriff's Office had planned for delivery of 4 interceptors in 2023. That did not occur. Delivery took place in 2024. So the allocated budget in 23 will remain unspent, and this adjustment will allow for that expenditure to take place in 2024.
Thank you. Any questions? Is there a motion to approve budget adjustment number 4?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Sorry.
Is there a motion to approve the personnel actions as presented?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. We have board appointments. Commissioner Harvey?
Yeah, 2 appointments. One to the Bucks County Community College Authority, Ms. Nancy Sherlock. This will be it's a 5-year term, although she's sort of finishing up a term from someone else, so this term will actually end on 1/1/27. And for the Bucks County Drug and Alcohol Commission, this is a new appointment. This is a student representative to that commission, Ms. Gwendolyn Schwartz. Her term will end 6/1/2027. I'll make a motion for both of those.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Under Other Civics, we have a $12,000 donation to Big Brothers Big Sisters, $2,000 to the Haycock Historical Society, and $1,200 to the National Alliance of Mental Illness. And I'll make that in a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Chief Operating Officer's report.
Thank you, Commissioner. I just have two quick items. One, it's Father's Day, June 16th. Want to wish all the dads a happy Father's Day. There's an event that's held each year. It's called the Father's Fishing Day Derby, and it's held at the Peace Valley Park. I think that would be pretty neat to attend if you have children that like to fish. And then also, again, household hazardous waste, June 29th in Central Bucks South High School, and that's in Morrington Township. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Solicitor's report.
Thank you, Commissioner. First, I'd like to wish a belated birthday to our COO, Ms. McKevitt. I'm not sure there's someone who works harder on their birthday. That was quite a day yesterday. I just have one item to report. The board held its standing executive session yesterday, June 4th, with staff and legal counsel present to discuss personnel matters, pending and prospective litigation, and to receive confidential legal advice. Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll move to Commissioner comments. Commissioner DiGirolamo.
No comments for today.
Commissioner, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to welcome Dave Bria to the jury box as the head of purchasing. Welcome, Dave. Glad to have you on board. And just a quick comment. I know Beth and Bill have gotten up 2 weeks in a row and talked about some issues. I actually met with the two of them last week on Friday and talked over some of their concerns. I'm not sure if it's doable or not, but one of the things they had asked is the possibility of maybe getting a meeting with Gail and Charlene and just to discuss their concerns and see if they could maybe, just talk it over. And they're both very, very nice people, very respectful. They made wonderful presentations here before the commissioner. So I think maybe a meeting just with Gail and maybe.
I see Gail nodding her head yes, and I think that's a great idea.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Harvey.
Thank you. Echo Ms. Fitzpatrick's comments. Happy birthday to Ms. McKevitt. Should we all sing?
No.
No? No. Okay. This is doesn't like the happy birthday song. So, but I also, she kind of beat me to the punch too. Father's Day, obviously this meeting, the last one we'll have before Father's Day. So for dads out there, whether they're fathers, stepfathers, grandfathers, godfathers, if you fill the role of fatherhood in the life of a child, thank you for doing that. And certainly we appreciate you, and thank you obviously to wish Commissioner DiGirolamo. I know the other dads who are here and work for the county. This is not your first, no, this is your first Father's Day, Mr. Nagy. Congratulations on that. Oops. Yeah, so you'll get a tie maybe from your son. So, hopefully he'll have good taste like you. But the other comment really just focusing on tomorrow, which is the 80th anniversary of the Normandy invasions during World War II, D-Day. Over a dozen countries participated in that invasion, obviously mostly American and British forces along with Canadian forces, but forces from the Free French forces from Czechoslovakia, Norway, South Africa, other countries were involved. It was literally a United Nations effort to invade France and start a second front against Nazi Germany. Over 150,000 men people know, for whether you have just got this from the first 20 minutes of Saving Private Ryan or not, but certainly the landings on Omaha Beach by American forces were one of the bloodiest days in American history. There are still some World War II veterans. I think it was an article in the paper today of over 60 who have made the journey or are going to France to celebrate that. Simple math will tell you if they were 18 years old at the time, which would be very, very young, considering they would have had to go through basic training first, so probably they were all older than 18. They would be obviously 98 years old minimum now. I think it is telling, or maybe kind of a harbinger, I hope not, but that as that generation, that greatest generation that fought fascism around the world is leaving us, we are facing increased threats of fascism here in our own country. And so it's, people want to truly honor the memory of those men and women who did that, who performed that miraculous effort 80 years ago. It would be to make sure that you're continuing the fight against the kind of forces of hatred and evil that have grown around the world, not just here in this country, over the past decade or so. That truly is the best way to honor their memory and their sacrifice. So thank you.
Thank you. And I just wanted to share a few comments. Over the past 2 weeks, I found myself having a lot of thoughts about veterans. I guess it's Memorial Day, followed by the bridge dedications for the Vietnam veterans, and the 80th anniversary of D-Day. So the veterans and those lost in those wars have been in the forefront of my mind and prayers. But I've also noticed in the past couple weeks, in the past few months, as a matter of fact, a lot of talk about this country having a rigged system of justice, which has also followed years of hearing that we have a rigged election system. And that has weighed heavy on my mind. So today I feel compelled that I need to make a few remarks. There is a group of people, actually, who have faced biases in our system of justice, prejudices, less than impartial judges, and have often had even questionable legal representation. That group, however, is not rich white men. There has also been a group of people who have faced discrimination at the polls, denied their right to vote, and even had exercising their right to vote made impossible. And that group has also not been rich white men. To have rich white men in positions of authority slamming our judicial system because they lose a case in court is almost as pathetic as a rich white man who loses an election slamming our entire election system. Many of us, including me, have lost cases in court, and I have lost 4 elections. You might feel quietly angry inside. You might feel ripped off. You might talk to your family. You do not grab a microphone and condemn entire institutions. And it's not really fair to the people who have been duped by those lies. And it's particularly not fair to the thousands of veterans, hundreds of thousands, who have given their lives to protect us and our systems. They did that to protect our systems of judicial process as well as our elections. I heard a D-Day veteran on TV the other night, and he was speaking of how sad it makes him that he had seen so much death when he had been in Normandy, only to see people in our country right now railing against the very systems that they put their life in jeopardy for. And honestly, it's not fair to our children. Children grow up to look forward to being able to vote, and they should continue to be able to vote knowing we have the most honest system of voting in the entire world. They should also know that if they ever face a time in court, they don't have to fear that justice will come. Children should not grow up in a world of fear where the institutions that their grandparents and great-grandparents fought for are slammed. And I have to say, as I work here, it is not fair to the judges who go into our courthouse every single day trying to balance wisdom with laws and rules. It's not fair to our public defenders, our district attorneys, the private counsel who go into our court system every day trying to find justice or plead somebody's case. It isn't fair to the bailiffs, the clerks, the deputies, and the support staff who make our system work to slam them like that. And the bogus, outrageous lies about elections are not fair to our election workers who work 365 days a year to deliver those elections, or the election day workers who make a measly $7 an hour for 15 hours of work, or the sheriff deputies and ballot clerks who work on Election Day. Decrying and debasing and denouncing our judicial system and our election system is nothing more than stoking fear. Fear in a democracy makes it weak. And history has shown that when democracies become weak based on fear, people turn to dictators to try to lead them out of it, and that is dangerous. So today, I believe what has happened in these kind of talks is just a cancer. And part of the way you cure cancer is a chemotherapy. And here I am, as part of it, I'm going to speak up against it again and again and again until the truth is out there. And I don't want children or anyone else to be fearful. We are going to go through good times and bad, and we are going to disagree on a variety of issues as Americans, but never, ever, ever doubt our justice system and our election system are fair and honest. Thank you. Motion to adjourn?
So moved?
And just to remind people before that, we are not meeting again until July 10th. And there's a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.